This is a story about the first time I took my girlfriend for an airplane ride. She ended up taking me for an airplane ride. But
You ever heard that?
it was about March or April, a nice warm spring day, and most of the snow had melted off and was gone. So she wanted to know if I could give her an airplane ride. Well, my airplane was at Valley Point, and we were in Oakland, Maryland, and we were nearby where my brother's airplane was kept, and I had a key to it. So we come over to Gortner Airport, and when we got here, most of the snow was melted off. Most of the snow. We taxied the 150 out to the runway, and there had been one great big drift of snow right in the middle of the runway that had melted down to where it was only about 18 inches or so deep, but it was real packed down and heavy, you know. But I reasoned that I could have it off the ground by the time I got to that snow, and I'd take her flying to impress her. Well, the way the wind was blowing, we had to take off uphill, which wasn't a good thing. Plus the ground was kind of soft and mushy. So I go down to the end of 2-2, and I turn around and I give it full throttle, and it starts accelerating so slow, but it's accelerating. And I thought by the time I get to that snow, I can force it off the ground and we'll fly over that little bit of snow. Even if I have to touch down again when I get past the snow. Something else right there. You have to build a little more speed so I can fly. But anyway, I had it flying about maybe a foot off the ground by the time I got to the snow. But the snow was about 1.5 feet high. So it caught the wheels and it dragged me down into the drift. Right in the middle of it. So we're stuck. So I tell Sheila, I said, the only way we're going to get out of this is I'm going to have to get out and push on a wing strut, and you're going to have to run the throttle. So she agrees to that. And I showed her the throttle, and I told her, I said, hold the yoke back all the way, and when I start pushing on the wing strut, you give it full throttle. And I said, if we make it out to the grass, and I think we will, as soon as we make it to the grass, pull the throttle back. Well, she acted like she understood. And I had her open the window on her side, and I walked around to the right side so we could communicate. So I started pushing real hard on that wing strut. And inch by inch, we were making progress through the snow, you know. Finally, we got to the edge of that snow and right out onto the grass, just perfect. So I turned around to her and I said, pull it back. She apparently thought I meant the yoke. But she left the throttle all the way in. So I'm walking real fast alongside of it, holding on to the wing strut, and I'm yelling, pull it back, pull it back. And she's turning around looking at me, her eyes are this big. And she yelled, I am. And I said, the throttle, damn it, the throttle. And she just stared at me like a deer in the headlights. Well, by this time it's going pretty fast and I'm running. And I'm running, holding on to that wing strut, and I'm pleading with her. Pull it back, damn it, the throttle, pull it back. Please pull it back. She's just staring out the window and her eyes are that big. And she's pulling that yoke back all the way and she keeps yelling, I am. Well, the airplane took off to the right and it made a big circle to the right, and then it crossed the runway again at a 90-degree angle. And by now it's really, I mean, I'm holding on to the wing strut and barely touching the ground every 20 feet maybe. She's headed right straight for Ralph and Mary Ellen's house.
The one down there.
Yeah. And by now it's crow hopping, trying to fly. And I wrapped my legs around this wing strut and my arms because I couldn't keep up with it anymore. I was hanging on the wing strut, yelling, pull it back, please, for God's sake, pull it back. And she keeps yelling, I am. And I learned a Cessna 150 won't fly with a fat guy hanging on the wing. It just can't do it. We're headed straight for Ralph and Mary Ellen's house. And the only thing that saved us is there was a huge drift down there and she stuck that thing right in that drift. I mean, she stuck it right in the drift. The snow flying off the propeller. I go and I jerk the door open. And I go to climb inside to pull that throttle back because it's still running. And I tear the brake line off the right gear. I'm crawling in there to pull the throttle back. And I asked her, I said, what's wrong with you? She was shaking like this. I said, this is just great. Now look how we're stuck. I said, the only way we're going to get out of here is I'm going to have to push the wing again while you run the throttle. She said, you can kiss my... I won't tell you. I do finally get the airplane back up here. It's got a brake line tore off of it now, so we can't fly it now. It's only got a brake on one side. So I got a new brake line for it. My cousin and I put a new brake line on it. It's my brother's airplane. I never told him anything about this.
I don't think he knows the story yet, though.
He doesn't.
What kept it from nosing over when you hit the drift initially?
Fat guy hanging off the side.
No, they were still flying it at that point.
Well, it was a pretty nose high attitude,
okay.
and the mains caught first, and then just yeah. But anyway, my brother said, he said, that looks like that brake line looks like it's brand new. And I said, yeah. I said, I come over here one day and I saw you had a little leak and you needed a brake line. I said, so I got one for you, put it on there. He said, I really appreciate that.
Oh, that's too good.
No, we didn't hurt the airplane. But I'll tell you, I had nightmares about that. I had nightmares about her shaking me off that wing. And no bigger than she is, with that throttle wide open and her holding that yoke clear back, she'd have went flying.
Yeah, wow.
And she had no idea how to fly. I could just imagine laying there on the flat of my back watching that thing fly away. That would not have been a very good...
I didn't sound like that one over there. What the heck?
That was a fitting ending to the video.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?